Community, happy Wednesday, and welcome to our Fiery Embers show. This is a show that's not about tips, tricks, and plans to get you fitter, faster, stronger. If that happens, it was a mistake, and I'm sorry in advance. This show is to provide some laughs and levity while training and racing by having a chat with everyday athletes about their stories, about fun questions, about just enjoying ourselves as we do many, many, many hard things in getting to our start line and hopefully our finish line. Today, I'm being joined by John Hudson, whose Instagram description says, runs for fun. Sounds great to me. It also says, share some opinions. Sounds even better. He runs 13.1s, 26.2s, and the occasional ultra. He will be running the Chicago Marathon this year, so let's be sure to root him on as he comes down the home stretch of his training on his way to the start and eventually the finish line. So without any further delay, let's bring John onto our Fiery Embers show. Hey, John, how are you, buddy?
What's happening, Jason?
Oh, man, not much and a whole lot all at the same time, as I'm sure everybody can attest to.
That sounds just about what's been on my mind here for the past years. So that's great.
All right, dude. So you're in Chicago.
Yep. Chicago land. I don't want to tick off the actual people in Chicago. I'm in a suburb of Chicago. So
right. You're somewhere within the vicinity of Chicago.
That's right. That's right.
So if you have to do one of these for the rest of your life, what are you going to choose? Root for the White Sox while attending every home game, or eat a deep dish pizza without a fork and knife?
Oh, man, that's a tough one, especially given the way the Sox are doing right now. The alternative would be, though, you'd probably get a great seat because they cannot fill a stadium. And deep dish for the rest. Do I have to eat it every day or just whenever I eat deep dish?
Whenever you eat it, you just can't use a fork and a knife. You just have to put your head in there like one of those blueberry pie eating contests.
So when I do occasionally attack a deep dish, I'll start out with a fork, but I'll get about 2 bites in, and then when I can grab the crust, I go ahead and go after it anyway. I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to go with the deep dish. It's just the vicinity where I am to guaranteed rate and just having watched that horrid baseball 80 some times a year.
Oh my goodness, dude. So I'm a Mets fan. The 1962 Mets have the record for being the worst team in baseball, and the White Sox are on their way to surpassing that, which is incredible.
I was going to say, you might be losing that title here. And
it's one we will happily give up, I tell you.
You talk about a fall too. I don't follow baseball enough, but hey, you live here. I listen to the radio, and like 2 years ago, they were picked to be like, oh my God, they're on their way to winning the championship. Yes. And Sox fans were going nuts around here, going off the Cubs fans, and it's like, what the hell happened? So it's
there's a guy, I forget his name, but he got traded from the Dodgers to the White Sox. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? No. You're on top of the world. You got a chance at the World Series. And now
you're like, what did I do? I mean, who did I piss off in this one? That's I mean, at least you're going from one fine city to another, but man, you're
you get that phone call. There. You get that phone call from your agent, and you're looking around for candid camera and the pranks. Like, what the fuck happened here? Like, that can't be real.
It's not April 1st, man. This is this is not cool. And that's a tough one. That is a tough one.
So I went and scrolled through your Instagram account, and you have a picture of there with a box of 9 donuts from. It says joedonut.com. I have no idea what the context is. I don't care. It was a picture of 9 donuts, and I was already enamored. Do you recall the picture?
I do, yeah, and I know the place very well. Frequent customer.
Do you remember the 9 donuts that you had in there, and which was the first one you ate?
Oh, I'd have to go look, but if I can imagine what I probably got, they have it's a Fat Elvis donut. It's probably got chocolate, bananas, bacon. I guarantee, and when we divvy it up in the house, we usually kind of cut them in 4s.
Nice.
So because it's like everyone gets a sampling of everything. So, but I guarantee I went after that one, and there was probably a red velvet that came in a close second from there. But yeah, that's a local donut shop, and occasionally splurge and I'll take them all. I'll take them
So
all.
you bring up red velvet. I don't know if you saw the clip that we shared from our fireside chat interview with Adam Ruska from Goes Health. But one of the questions I ask in our fireside chat at the end, I'm going to ask of you now since you brought it up.
Yeah.
Is red velvet a real flavor, or is it just chocolate cake dressed up to go to the prom?
As if you looked at my Instagram account a little bit more, you may see an affinity for pancakes and making pancakes. It is chocolate dressed up to go to the prom because I go and buy the red dye food coloring to add into it. So yes, that is just dressed up to go to the prom. So
And everybody who's watching this who might be a pastry chef, baker,
oh yeah,
fanatic of red velvet, please don't send me emails. I got
yes,
it. I understand.
same here.
It's a joke.
They are from scratch. My pancakes, they're not out of a box, but yes, I have to get the red food coloring for that. So yeah, I'm no hate from the pastry people. Just send us pastries. How about that?
How about that?
Send
Yeah.
us
So
legit red velvet. So,
what's the story behind the pancakes? Like every fourth
oh
picture is a
man.
stack of pancakes, man.
So I have two kids. Well, they're now borderline adults. But way back when on Sunday mornings is kind of a way for me to liven things up. I started making pancakes for the kids, and I get the ones out of the box, out of bag. You throw in some chocolate chips, and you make some kids happy. And then, back then, if it didn't happen if you didn't post it, so I'd goof around and post it. And one day somebody sent me a recipe, and they're like, "Hey," and ironically, were red velvet pancakes. They go, "You should fire these up." I go,
You should have fired that person.
yeah, I go, whoa, 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 whoa. You're missing the point here. This is 2 scoops thing and a little bit of water and an egg. But then I started looking at it, I was like, well, I can follow a recipe. So I, whip these things up and, again, you post it because if it posted, it didn't happen. And it just kind of took off a life of its own. Shoot, this was probably 10 years ago. And for a while I had it branded and had a page, and we called it, my last name's Hudson, nickname's Huddy, grown up and all that. So someone came up with the name of Huddy's Hotcakes. So it became a part of, I don't know if you call it a brand or whatever, where I would make, people would either send me recipes or Google's the best thing. I go make some pancakes every day or every Sunday morning. It just became a kid ritual that exploded to a point that I started incorporating it into my work. So I work, again, pastry chefs lay off of us and other people. I work in HR. I'm an HR guy. So please, save all the negative comments. But when I would go visit some of the offices, one of the ways that I kind of would break down that persona of, oh gosh, the HR guys here, I showed up to one of our offices and I whipped up some pancakes in the morning. And it became a way for me to break the ice with employees, to start talking to them about, everybody's got a story about food, and then you feed people, you make them happy before you drop some bad news on them.
Nailed
It became just, a thing of, hey, when are you making pancakes? Hey, John's coming in town. Yeah, it just was, it took a life of its own, and it's about the only thing I can whip up every now and then. But yeah, it's look, food is community. And,
Absolutely.
similar to what we have with running here, it brings people together. And, it's very tough to say a bad thing when someone shoves some pumpkin spice pancakes in front of you, on a Thursday morning when you got to go to work. So
do you go pumpkin spice over apple cider this time of year?
I do pumpkin spice because it's easier for me and it has real pumpkin. So all you PSL haters, yes, I put real pumpkin in it. But yeah, I for the fall, but so I usually got to wait until October before I break those out. But yeah, that's kind of my go-to for a fall time. I mean, a little cinnamon, nutmeg, you can't, and whipped cream on top. You got to throw that whipped cream on top.
So let's rank breakfast desserts, shall we call them?
Pancakes. Yeah, the pancake is not a break. It's cake. Yeah.
Pancakes, waffles, French toast. How do you rank them? 1 through 3.
Oh,
one being the best.
So if I'm going to go order, if I'm going to a restaurant, I'm going French toast.
Really?
It's weird. I mean, I don't know if it's because I made them a lot of, like, I'm not going to order pancakes, but I love a French toast with, a little cinnamon on it and just powdered sugar smothered in syrup. And then I go pancakes and then waffle. I'm nothing against a waffle. I just, I like a French toast. It's, yeah.
So when we start Huddy's house, on the menu is going to be Huddy's hotcakes,
Yep.
Huddy's challah French toast.
Yes.
Yes, right.
I learned that. You got to use the challah bread. It's, I mean, it just sticks. It's,
and I don't have an alliteration for waffles, but that's why you hire me as the marketing team, and I'll take like 6 years to develop it and charge you $1 million.
Yeah, there was a far off dream sort of, when you're on a 2-hour run of, when I pack this whole thing in, maybe I will open a pancake house. I've got the name Huddy's Hotcakes, and it was like, yeah, you got to run that thing. I'll go bankrupt in a week. But
are you a fan of Shark Tank?
I used to watch it back in the day. Yeah, I mean, it got a little. I mean, when it first came out, it was a lot of fun to watch.
One of their best episodes is Kodiak cakes, which everybody knows today. It's all over the place. You can't miss it. But when it was two brothers that started the company, when they went on Shark Tank, they got rejected because at the time, the argument was, how are you going to fight for shelf space? Where are you going to get the money for shelf space? You've got, at the time, it was Aunt Jemima. I think it's now Mills House is the name of the brand, and Bisquick and all these other companies, right?
All the powerhouses, right?
Yeah. And so the question was, how are you going to do that? And like the whole point of them going on the show so they can get money from you guys so that they can do that.
That's your job.
Right. Yeah. But they got rejected, and sure enough, man, they stuck to it and they built it out, and look at where they're at today. So another lesson for everybody out there.
I love stories like that. It's like we always you see these inventions and things that happen, and I always talk to my friends. I'm like, we sit around having beers talking about I could do this, and those are the guys or the men and women that take those ideas and the next morning wake up and say, I'm going to make it happen. And I just love those stories of, if you got a passion for something and you got the time and maybe a lot of risk and I love it. But I don't know if I could run a restaurant. I'll sit in back. If it gets someone else who already has the infrastructure, maybe I'll be a guest on the menu for a week. But I think I'd stress out too much. It'd kill me.
I'm with you. Like I used to post a lot of food on my personal Instagram account. I would get these messages, "Oh, you should start a restaurant." And my only response to them, which always ended the conversation, was, will you lend me a 0%, no guarantee payback loan for $1 million? Yeah. If so, I'm in. I'll be happy to do it. Otherwise, forget about it.
Yeah. I don't. That is, and it's probably one of the tougher industries to. I mean, I don't think. Once again, we'll get people after it, but I mean, what, 3-4 years of success for restaurants? It can't be that great. Those that survive, man, it's tough business. I
gotta be real good. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, so let's go to a ridiculous question.
Oh boy.
How do giraffes greet each other? Are they like head bowing to each other? Is there a hoof bump? Like, how do they say hello when they pass each other?
That's I've always wondered, either with giraffes or dinosaurs, where do they put their necktie? Is it down below or up to the chin? You have seen those things. How do I think it's a head nod. I think it's the runners nod when you see someone, and the fist bump might be tough because you might not be able to see the guy raise his hoof because you're up here. You don't know the giraffe, so I don't think you're going to go too much of a headbutt right yet, or So I think it's the casual head nod as they're passing each other. Now I'm going to go to a zoo and I'm going to observe some giraffes.
Yeah. How fast do you think a warthog can run, and do you think you could beat it in a race?
The second part, no. How fast? I don't know. I watching The Lion King several times. It was a Pumbaa or Timon. Pumbaa was when he got pissed off and got some speed. I don't. If he's hungry, I don't think I'm beating him. So yeah, I can't beat one in a race. I'm built for distance, not for speed. So I am dead meat when Pumbaa's coming after me here.
The warthog can run as fast as 30 miles an hour. Yeah.
Ooh.
So I did this thing yesterday where today I Google searched,
Yeah. So what's a human run? What's Noah Lyles run?
I don't know what Noah Lyles does, what he runs it in, but I said, what's a comparable animal to a human, so that it could be a little harder question to answer.
Yeah.
And it said there is no animal on the planet that is comparable to the human, but the warthog is the closest. And I was like, oh, cool. And it said the warthog runs 30 miles an hour, and they were comparing it to Usain Bolt, who runs 27 miles an hour. And I'm like,
oh my gosh, so does the warthog have the claim to fame for the slowest animal in the jungle at clocking in at 30 miles an hour?
Just ahead of the human. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so all the other animals are like, hey, we just got to beat the warthog if the lion's coming after us, right?
And it's no wonder why cavemen were eating berries and nuts off and twigs off of trees. Like,
or didn't survive that long. Yeah,
exactly.
Holy
smokes. How the hell are you going to catch these things?
So Bolt, and that's just 200 meters.
Yeah. 100 to 200 meters.
Yeah. 26 miles an hour. Okay. Although that would be pretty crazy. You think in your neighborhood, you posted 20, 25 miles an hour to see Usain Bolt keeping up with your car.
Yeah. Well, how like on the side of the road, the speed signals are like your speed is. And like when I'm riding my bike, if I could get that thing to hit 20 on my bike, I'm fist pumping, right? Now, could you imagine you're driving your car and Usain Bolt runs past you and it's like 27 miles an hour.
With that smile, with that look at you. That would be fantastic. Yeah. I don't want to try, so I'm not even putting this out there, but I wouldn't even venture to guess how fast, quote unquote, I can run. I mean, I guess you could look at it from, hey, I run, 6 miles in an hour. You can figure that.
Right.
No, but if you said, all right, 20 meters, 20 yards, I'm not going any further. I don't think I could tip.
No, it wouldn't even register on the speed scale on the street. It just wouldn't.
It'd just say too slow.
Instead of slow down, it'd be like, pick up the pace.
That's right. Does not compute. That's oh man. It's bad enough when they got these watches that tell you that you're, now you got a damn road sign that's telling you you're too slow too. I was like, all right, I'm done with technology.
I'm out. Yeah, because I asked Santino yesterday if he could run faster than a gorilla or swim faster than a goldfish in 100 meters. And he went with running faster than a gorilla but I was like, man, I think it would take a long time for a goldfish to go 100 meters because they're so tiny. Whereas I'm 5'6", I should be able to out touch the goldfish, right?
Yeah. What's a gorilla? If a warthog's clocking in at 30 miles an hour, I mean, a gorilla's got to be pushing 40, right?
At least. Yeah. That's my next Google research.
There you go. Yeah, your search history is going to look awfully interesting here.
In comparison to my wife, who's getting her PhD, like her research and Google and all that stuff is so scholarly, and mine's like, what animal runs just as fast as a human?
Oh yeah, well, it's opposites attract, I guess, right? Is that? Yeah, there you go.
She's coming at me with all of these I'm going to use big words, and I'm like, do you think I could outrun a warthog on a Tuesday? Like, what are you talking about?
Oh yeah, first find said warthog to set up the race. So
all right, so here's a question: you get to have one last meal before blasting off to Mars with Matt Damon, where you're only going to be eating sweet potatoes for the rest of your life. What meal are you eating?
Oh my gosh, one last. No, wait. How long does it take to get to Mars, and is there a bathroom on the?
Well,
I get to go to the bathroom before, because that's going to change my choices of traveling 2 years and blasting off. And
you get to go to the bathroom beforehand, and you're on Mars when you get there.
On Mars. Yeah, you know what? It's my go-to, and I had it last night. And again, if you don't thread about it or whatever you call it, I had the Chipotle brought back the smoked brisket for their one-time thing, and I know it's Chipotle. There's probably other authentic places, but if I have to grab it, I'd go with that. I think I'd go with and the best part is putting everything on it and watching the kid try and fold it. I mean, and I've seen some masters. I'm like, there's no way this kid is going to be able to do this. And man, gets in there, he gets it nice and tight and it fits in the foil. And I'm like, so I think I'd go, just a big, it doesn't have to be Chipotle, but I would go just a big burrito, all the fixings, probably like a brisket or a steak.
Right now, Matt Damon is like, thank goodness I'll have my space helmet on.
See, that was a thing too. I got to be in a suit. So this is, can I at least have like an 18-hour period before they get me all strapped in there?
Like the long johns with the long johns with the little the little flap in the back.
Yeah, they're on the countdown. I'll be like, hold on, abort. Yeah.
Can we put a pin in this? Hold on.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, that would be it. But that would be a fun. You know what? If I were going to be stuck in Mars with anyone, I wouldn't be upset with hanging out with Matt Damon for a bit. It'd be kind of fun.
Why not? It'd be fun. Yeah. It'd be a blast. You know, he could probably tell you all the Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez stories you could possibly handle.
Yeah, you're like, all right, who's pulling the potatoes today? It's yeah, I guess you could. That was a wild concept. So.
How long before you asking him, do you like those potatoes? Does he just start throwing you out of the space shuttle? Like, all right, dude, I've heard that joke enough.
That's right. I'm done. Yeah. I'm going to the rover, hanging out. Yeah.
I'm going to the dark side of Mars. Goodbye.
Here's the recipe. Yeah.
I've seen pictures on Instagram of you visiting Seattle. I lived there for a year before we've moved here to LA.
Yeah, remember? Yeah.
In Seattle, where's your go-to for eating?
Oh gosh. So company I work for is based in Seattle, and pre-pandemic, I was there probably 5-6 times a year. Downtown Seattle. So
yep.
Now I gotta think. Oh, there, I gotta remember, like my go-to, I have to have one of these, and I know I'm sitting there in Seattle and there's all the fish and everything there. It was connected to the hotel. God, what was the hotel? But the place was called the Bookstore, and had to be on like First and Mary, but they had a burger because sometimes you get in late and you belly up to the place. And it was funny because my coworker, his name was Tom, we roll in there and we order the burger, and he's like, hey, can you put an egg on it? And they're like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, just put an egg on it. So they went back, put an egg on it because this wasn't on the menu. Next time we visited, it was an option to put an egg on it. So we called it the J&T burger. But that, I will admit, in some of the things that I look at, when you used to travel a lot of, I didn't always take advantage, or I guess you took for granted.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm here a lot. Screw it. I'm just going to go to the go-to place instead of really venturing out and hitting some really, really unique places. And I started doing that a little bit of like, hey, I'm, in St. Louis, or I'm in Detroit. Where do we go? Where's, take me to a place to go. But I mean, it's been a few years since I've been, and I know, sorry, Seattle people, I know I missed everything there. I'll take recommendations next time I'm there. But that was always one that was my comfort food. Because I stayed in the hotel right across from it, and it was easy to get to as well. But it was a great burger. So.
My favorite place is Bambino's. It's on 4th and Cedar, which is a block away from our apartment. So every Friday, just about, I would go to Yelp. I'd put my order in for pickup. I'd walk the 1 block and get it. And it was a white pizza with Calabrian peppers, mushrooms, ricotta, mozzarella, and garlic and salt. And that was it. And it is so damn good because it's a wood-fired oven. And get this. So on the walls, they have all these pictures of New York. So I'm a New Yorker, so I'm all in on it, right? Yeah. So I asked the people behind the counter, I'm like, hey, are you guys from New York? Is the owner from New York? And they're like, we have no idea. We just work here. Like there's no stories whatsoever. But I was like, I don't care. Take my money. And it
Yeah.
got to the point, dude. I was there so often. At the start, I would have to tell them my order, and they'd go find it. And
Yeah.
by the end, as soon as I walk in, they would just hand me the box because they knew it was me, and I'd walk right out. It was so awesome.
The Jason special, right?
That's it, man.
There's this New York guy,
Yeah.
But
Comes in with his accent, asks us all kinds of questions about New York. We're from Seattle.
The owner's actually from Nebraska. He's got no ties to New York. He's like, hey, let's say, we'll bring it here. So yeah.
Real quick, I see Josh Adelphia is on the show right now. Josh, thank you so much for sharing your story in our latest digital magazine. Really appreciate it. For those of you who have not gotten our latest issue, just head to our website, subscribe to our newsletter. It'll be in your inbox before you blink. All right, John. So we only have a few more minutes left before we wrap this up. Let me ask you this. You could visit anywhere in the world, but you don't get a change of clothes and you have to stay there for 2 weeks without showering. Where are you going? What are you doing? What are you seeing?
Oh God. Now
you could pick any time of the year you want.
I'm on a run streak. So does this mean I have to put in a run, or do I just say screw it?
If you want to keep that streak going, you do.
Yeah. So then, okay. So I can't change. So it's where I'm going first. God, that's what I'll narrow it down. I will not go somewhere super hot because I run hot.
Yeah.
If I'm going 2 weeks, you think Matt Damon's in trouble. You think Matt Damon's in trouble after, so.
Now I didn't say you couldn't buy deodorant. So there's always that option.
Yeah. But, man, it would have to be not a humid climate, no disrespect to the tropics or anything there, but
it would be bad.
It would. I couldn't do that. So I'm thinking some European country.
Yeah.
Boy, there's so many I haven't been either. But yeah, where am I going? All right. I used to do the iFit. I had a treadmill. I have a treadmill, and iFit would have it, and you would do all of those runs. And like the Swiss Alps, there were a couple of runs. And why am I escaping me? Because he's a legend, but he would do all these runs in the Swiss Alps, and I just remember all the little towns and areas that he would go in and out. I was like, okay, it's cool there because he's wearing a jacket, so the sweat factor and the odor factor is going to be a little bit, but just the mountains, the clear water, these little towns. It was like, oh my God, that looks like just roll up to get a cup of coffee and whatever. So I would go probably somewhere in that, Alps regions or mountain towns.
I kid you not, dude. That's exactly the place I would go. Because I could go run in the mountains for forever. There's probably snow on the mountain, so I could use it to like wash myself off a little bit.
Yes, yes. You didn't say what were the rules of.
I just said you had to have the same clothes for 2 weeks, and where are you going and what are you doing? That's it.
Yeah.
And so go to one of those mountain towns. There's snow. Use that as water or whatever else. But like the Swiss chocolate, the coffee in the area,
that's
food
what I'm
thinking. Like, oh my goodness, like that would be heaven on earth, even if I had to stink for 2 weeks. Like, seriously.
Now if you have change of clothes, if you have showers, I mean, the options are endless. But I just think if I had to get out and at least get that mile in, maybe I wear some, get you some of those Hokas that look like sort of casual shoes, but also hikers that
exactly.
You can, because hey, you might have to go out for dinner or something tonight and look halfway decent. So
there's I don't know if you know who Stanley Tucci is, but he had this show on either Discovery or CNN or something, like Tucci Eats Italy or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's in the Dolomites in one of these episodes, and it's just this background of these tall mountains with snow at the top, and he's at this like lodge, and he's sipping espresso, and he's eating pastry, and he's nibbling on chocolate. And I just thought to myself, that is utopia.
Oh my gosh.
It couldn't get any better than that. It really just couldn't.
Yeah, I'd be all over that. So
right.
So, Yeah. No, just find the right kind of clothes. It's got to be
That's it.
some breathable wicking, but also a little bit of warmth, a little stylish. But yeah. Maybe some of the shirts you rock, the plaid running shirts, though.
That's
I know
it,
it's the
man.
rabbit. Yeah, I don't want to do a shameless plug here, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I've got like 7 or 8 of those. They'd be perfect for that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Hey, dude, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck to you throughout the rest of this process on your way to Chicago, and have a blast out there. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, this has been great. Thanks, Jason.
You got it. I'll